Rachel.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome to the Image Office.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here.
Great to have you here. You are a Dublin gal living in London.
Yes.
What's it like to be back in Dublin?
Oh God, well, I'm always back. Like in the last month, I've been back about 5 times. So I kind of say I'm kind of living between Dublin and London because I'm very blessed to have a family home here. My family lives here. And whenever I get a deal on flights, I come back. But Dublin's just my favorite place in the world.
It's a good city.
It's an amazing city. I honestly think there's very few places like it where it's got like the culture and the crack and the people and the job opportunities, obviously very expensive, but it's not as huge as somewhere like London or New York. Do you know what I mean? It's like accessible, and I think there's no place like it.
And London can be quite lonely. I think a lot of people say that.
Completely. I talk about that a lot in my videos. Yeah. Just because it's so huge and everyone kind of sticks to themselves more so. I think you have to be quite organized about being sociable. It's not like, I think there's quite a spontaneity in sociability in Ireland where it's like, will we head for a pint? Will we like go to the park? Will we whatever, go for a swim? It's not like that in London, especially because it's so huge and people, like, you invariably live about 40 minutes away from one of your friends. So you have to organize your weekends. And if you don't, and book things and organize to meet with people, you can find yourself sitting in your living room, twiddling your thumbs, like, what the hell am I doing?
And what's your like favorite part about the city?
About London?
About London, yeah.
I love that you can kind of do anything you want at any time. If I decide on a Monday night that I want to go to a jazz club, or I want to see some comedy, or I want to meet some Irish creatives, I know that there are places I can go. Irish Cultural Centre or the Top Secret Comedy Club. I love the spontaneity of being able to, do anything I want at any time.
And I can imagine creatively, it's obviously quite sparky.
It is, 100%. I was only on Saturday, I was at this coffee morning. These 2 girls reached out to me on TikTok, Eris and Megan, and they're Irish creatives themselves, and they write short films and they produce and direct, and they said, let's go for a drink. We met up for a drink on Friday, and then Eris said, come over to my house tomorrow. I do this kind of coffee morning thing, and it was just full of Irish creatives, like actors and directors, performers, and documentary filmmakers, and it was like incredible. I think that's what's amazing about London is for some reason all the creatives seem to.
And a lot of Irish creatives, that 100%. Seems to be like the next step. So like you're in Dublin, then you're like, okay, we'll go to London.
I think so, yeah. Just in terms of there's more opportunity. But I mean, Dublin's doing amazing things in the kind of acting space. Obviously, our talent is doing amazing at the moment. For me personally, I wanted to study like musical theatre when I left, and I didn't think there was the opportunity to do that at such a kind of a high level in Dublin. So it was like always in my plan to go to London for that. Yeah.
And so you're a writer, you're a comedian, you're a singer, social media personality. When people ask you what you do, what do you do?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I never thought I would. Yeah, that question freaks me out because I think there's something really scary about calling myself a comedian because then it's like, oh, well, then tell us a joke, or like you're kind of assuming that people are going to laugh, and sometimes people don't. So
yeah. And I always find, now I'm not a comedian, but I find I'm funniest when I don't realize I'm being funny. It's just like natural conversation.
I know. In like I've done about 4 different kind of newspapery magazine interviews this week, and I don't know why, but the question keeps coming up: when did you realize you were funny? I was like, no, I haven't realized I'm funny. Everyone's just laughing for some reason, and I'm just performing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's an Irish thing. I think there's natural humor there,
humility, and so yeah. Oh, 100%.
And we're well able to take like the mickey out of ourselves.
100%. I notice it so much when I go on dates. Like when I go on Hinge dates in London, there's like the London lads and there's the Irish lads, and it's 2 very different experiences. I think the London guys get a bit offended with my humor sometimes. Like if I fancy you, I will take the mick out of you.
Yeah.
And they think like this girl is aggressive.
I hate sincerity. It's one thing I've realized from dating apps is I hate men who are sincere. I just want you to like take the piss out of me, basically.
Yeah.
Make a joke.
No, if you call me beautiful, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to run away.
Insult me.
Yes, yeah.
And I will be there.
100%. 100%.
So for anyone who doesn't know, I suppose, how have you got like you've quite a following now on TikTok, and like I remember when I was saying that like you were coming in for an interview, all my friends were like, "Oh my God, Rachel Galvo!"
Aww.
Like your name has just gone out there, and it's been quite quick, and obviously extremely organic. But I suppose, how have you come to this stage?
Well, people say, I find it so funny when people say it's a big following, because I look at the likes of like all these TikTok stars with millions and I'm like, no, this is tiny. I think it's very concentrated in Dublin. Something like 70% of my followers are based in Dublin. So I only feel like it's big when I'm back in Dublin, because people will like stop me in the street or something. And yeah, I don't know how I've come to it. I think I recognized what was working pretty fast, and I just clung onto that and jumped on the bandwagon. And what was working was like authenticity and being sincere, and like what we were talking about, what Irish people hate is being sincere, but sometimes someone needs to say what everyone's thinking, and it's a breath of fresh air. And I've always been a person who has been authentic, and it really pains me to try to be someone else. I always say, like, I spent 15 years in an all-girls private Catholic school trying to be someone else. So when at this stage in my life, I'm just like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, because you do that quite well. It's like humor, but then you also talk about more kind of serious topics.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Spoken about loneliness and friendship and like dating and things that a lot of women, especially Irish women, will experience that. And that is an Irish thing. It's a very bad Irish thing that we tend to not open up.
I know.
And we're definitely getting better. But like when you do something like that, you talk about loneliness on an app, like it's almost like this like awe-inspiring thing, because we're just so slow to do it.
They're the type of videos that I receive the most messages about. Obviously the humor is great and all, but even in my humor, there's moments of like, you know, touching on mental health. I think that's what's great about humor. It's complex, and it's never just this is a joke. There's hidden meanings to everything.
I'm anxious, and I just get it. Like, I know how shitty it is, but like it breaks my heart that those people like feel that way, and I just promise you it gets so much better. I promise you it gets so much better. Adulthood is better.
I would never have posted TikToks if I still lived in Dublin. I would find it way too cringe. Even when I come back to Dublin for like a few days, I know people looking at me, they're like, you did that kind of weird video and stuff. And people love it, but they don't like to admit that they like it, because it is very honest. And but yeah, the videos about being lonely, I mean, they are hard to post. It's not like people say you're so honest and open and it's amazing, but I just know in terms of like the greater good and in terms of what people are going to get out of it, I just know when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I really needed to see something like that. And then when I do post it and get like these gorgeous, gorgeous messages and heartbreaking messages as well from young girls and young boys, it's like, and older women as well. Like, I'm still struggling with my loneliness in my 20s. That's what really affirms what I'm doing. And it makes me want to keep posting online.
With TikTok, it can be like overnight. Like someone can go from normal person down the street, and then
I know
your life has changed.
I think as well, what I notice is most hate comments come in on the videos where I'm extremely confident and having a laugh. And I would say like 99% of the comments are from like middle-aged men.
I know. I was just going to say.
Which is, and it's not, I think men are great, and it's not like all men anything, but 99% of my negative comments have been from men on videos where I'm clearly extremely happy and confident, and then they just feel like they need to knock me down a bit.
Yeah. But social media as a whole has obviously helped you a lot.
Yes. Hugely.
So like coming on to your show, The Shy Feminist.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the concept. What can like audiences expect? And when had you thought about this? Had you made this idea before?
Yes.
TikTok? You had. Okay.
Yes. And it's such an uninspiring story, which kills me. But it's funny. So I was in drama school, and it was a master's course, which means that we had to write a thesis and we had to write a show to accompany it. So I was forced to write this show, and I didn't ever think it would go beyond my drama school and beyond the examiners. And so you had to write about something you were passionate about and about theatre. And I wrote about how humor might be used to kind of as a catalyst in social movements, specifically the feminist movement. And then to accompany it, I did a comedy show, kind of talking about my upbringing, and if I were to look back, have I been an incredibly shy feminist? And I've come to the conclusion, looking back on my life, that I haven't been the best feminist, because I've changed myself for boyfriends, or I've changed myself to fit in with other girls, or I've kind of dumbed down my humor or my intelligence. and how I've kind of slotted myself into this idea of the perfect woman, which in turn means I'm a pretty shy feminist, I guess.
Love it.
But it's a comedy, yeah. But there are, of course, like comments on society and the patriarchy, and I know everyone hates to talk about that, but it's the truth.
Yeah. You must have been quite young, so when this concept came to you.
Yeah, I was 23.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was honestly from all the readings we had to do in drama school. I had not given a second thought to feminism, which is really embarrassing to say. It just hadn't come up that much in my life. I didn't really understand it, especially being from Ireland. I have this joke on my show that like with different language barriers and cultural barriers, things don't always directly translate. So a strong, loud, confident woman in England is a feminist. A strong, loud, confident woman in Ireland is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So yeah, when I read all these books, like they used to call me Snow White is an amazing book, or Roxane Gay, I don't know what the book's called, Bad Feminist. It was kind of like, it was like, holy crap, I've been a really shite feminist, to be honest. It's kind of shocking when you really look at it.
But it is a very good idea, because I think as well there's a little bit of a fear. Like I know myself that if I go into conversations like that, this whole thing of having the knowledge and I haven't done the readings into it, I would feel like I'd be very base level.
100%, me too.
And then I would be afraid to express my opinions on such subjects. So like I think it's probably it's an Irish female thing as well. I think
I know
that we're afraid to
imposter syndrome,
yeah.
But even as someone with a PhD in feminist theory and feminist studies will be told to shut up and sit down, because people in the patriarchy don't want to hear it. I'm serious. They don't want to hear about women standing up for their rights. So
yeah, it's such a good name as well, though.
The shy feminist. I know, because it's Irish as well. It's an Irish word, and I love it. Yeah,
and it's sold out like within
under
seconds.
A minute. Yeah.
How did that feel?
People, oh my god, like I don't really remember it. Like it was a complete shock to the system. I was about to log into my 9 to 5, work from home on a Friday morning when the first show went on sale. And then mum was like, will you just like log in and get us a few tickets for the family? And I was like, yeah, can we get 20 or 30? Because I don't want it to be empty. And then I clicked on at 9 and it wasn't working, and I was refreshing the page. And then I started getting all these DMs being like, oh my god, girl, you need to get onto Ticketmaster, it's broken down. I can't get tickets, it's broken down. I've been on since 8:30 and something's wrong with the website. And I was like really upset. And I was like, this is a bad omen. The show shouldn't go on because for my first show it's broken down. And my managers were like texting me like, oh no, I can't get tickets either. Then they got a call from MCD, which is like our production management. And they were like, no, it's sold out. I thought it was a practical joke. I was like, obviously someone's bought up all the tickets. It's a bot or something.
It's going to be one person.
Yeah, no, literally. Then I got all these texts being like, or people putting up stories being like, yes, I got tickets. And I'm like, who are you guys talking about? It's like, surely this isn't me.
That is, like, it must have been just such a buzz. Like,
not at first it was like, holy shit.
Probably quite scary.
No, it was just like, it was just surreal. I felt very like a bit of depersonalization. I was just like, who are we all waiting for? I was buying tickets myself. Do you know what I mean? Everyone says that you get comp tickets, but I'm treating this like a business. So all the comp tickets are going to press and PR and acting agents that I'm inviting. So my family's not getting any tickets.
No, just the important people in my life.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. Of course.
So when is the first show?
The first show of like the UK and Ireland tour thing is 5th of September in the Sugar Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a bit of prep time to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've also got the Fringe all of August, which I feel comfortable to use that as a kind of work in progress and chop and change it. And I mean, the Fringe in and of itself is kind of like, it's like a writer's room. Like people are very open to chopping and changing things, and everyone's very accepting, and people will contribute their ideas and stuff. So yeah, I'm not too worried.
And you were saying Edinburgh Fringe, that was a dream.
Oh yeah. It was just, in my mind, like if you made it to the Edinburgh Fringe, you were really doing well in the creative world. And so many incredible people, like Richard Gadd's Baby Reindeer, that started in the Edinburgh Fringe. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Fleabag, that started in the Edinburgh Fringe. To me, starting in the Fringe is an indication of what is hopefully to be a successful career. I'm hoping. Good crash and burn.
With the one person who's bought all the tickets.
Yeah. One person in the audience, my mum.
And I presume like it's also going to be a learning experience.
Absolutely.
To be, because obviously like this is like going big, go home, and you also, as you mentioned, you've left your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So this is like throwing
It
everything
has
at
to
the
work.
wall.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, I'll move back in with my mum and dad, and that's fine. But at least I tried it.
At least you tried it.
Do you know what I mean? And the support has been insane, and everyone's cheering me on from Ireland. I just think if I had 2 roads in front of me and one was corporate and one was creative, but it involved so much more risk, I would absolutely go down the creative. And my mum always says that to me, you know, when things get tough, or when I'm like going on TV tomorrow and we had the research call and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can like, and mum's like, fine, well, do you want to leave this and then go back to the job? I'm like, no, no, I don't want to go back to the corporate world. I want to
In terms of, I suppose, Irish female comedians at the minute and writers, we're just on a roll, like Sharon Horgan.
My biggest inspiration.
Yeah, would that be who you would look towards career-wise?
Sharon Horgan, Aisling B. I mean, Phoebe Waller-Bridge isn't Irish, but that type of person who literally does it all. Like a self-employed woman who has built a business. I mean, Aisling B does comedy, but she also wrote her shows, and she acts. And yeah, Sharon Horgan with Bad Sisters. And it's just, that is my end goal, my dream.
Why do you think Irish women are so funny?
I think it's like we're not afraid to take the piss out of ourselves. I think it is that like humility, and always told to kind of like don't brag and sit down, and kind of it almost goes to the other extreme where we take the piss out of ourselves. People like that. You know, they don't want someone to walk into a room and be like, look at me and look what I've done. Maybe because it makes other people feel safe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We are getting a little bit better at it, I would say, like being a bit more, I suppose, proud of our achievements. We're not like on an
we're not American
level yet. No. Like, I'm amazing, but we are not like the way we used to be, which was quite.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is like women. It is like women like Sharon Horgan and these people paving the way for like the younger generation now coming up. And but would that be the aim going forward? Like after say this project now, try feminist and see where that can go. Would you like to get into more like TV, like film side of things?
Yeah. Well, I want to write a TV show.
Okay.
Definitely based on the Shite Feminist and like the kind of, I'd love to write like a normal people / Fleabag / Dairy Girl style TV show about a Dublin girl who moves to London with the whole Trinity cohort, and they're all going into their finance jobs and she's trying to do acting. Obviously not my own life, very far removed. But I think a TV show about an Irish creative leaving for either New York or London, and the kind of what comes with that. I think it's, you're always kind of doing something different, I believe, if you're Irish and you're trying to go down the creative route.
Yeah.
As much as we're talking about like all these successful people in acting, I'd say when they started as well, you know, their family and friends are kind of like, what the hell are you doing? Where's your proper degree? And why are you going to acting school? And, you know, until you make it, it's really hard to be an Irish creative. Edinburgh is self-funded, and I just know that that's not going to make a profit, but I'm willing to take that risk. And also because I've been so blessed to have the other show sold out, that's allowing me to kind of pay for the Fringe in a way. So thank you so much, everyone, because that's allowing me to follow my dreams. But yeah, it is terrifying.
Yeah. The creative process, I find creative process so interesting, and I love asking people, because I don't know what my creative process is, but it's just so random. And I just find like, you know, there are some people who have like, they'll go on walks and they'll get inspired and all these things. Things will just come into my head randomly. Same. Out of the blue. Is that how you...
Yeah, my whole notes app. I'm actually terrified someone will steal my phone, not because my phone will go missing, because they'll be like, this girl's not okay.
Notes apps, it's worse than a diary.
So much worse. It's really weird. Like, I'll sometimes be falling asleep at like 3 a.m. then I wake up and be like, vibrator up bum part scene. something funny. And like, it seems so random. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, that's not good. Scrap that. But like, or else I'm out on a walk. And if I have ideas and I like write a bit, then I'll like slide it into normal life in order to test it. Like if I'm at dinner with my friends, I'm like, and what do you guys think about vibrators again? Like something like that, just to like test out, do you know what I mean? But my process is all over the place. And then last minute, I seem to put a structure on it, which is why it's really important for me to bring a team on around me, like a director and a producer and stuff. Because if it was just me by myself.
Yeah. Random thoughts I'd be saying.
Yeah.
Like flashing lights.
Yeah. No idea what's going on.
And do you think going forward, because obviously Shy Feminist kind of came from not some personal experiences, but do you think you'll always draw on personal
Of
experiences.
course.
Yeah.
I think everything's drawn on personal
Mhm.
experiences. Even when like obviously things are changed, and I think it's wrong to not write from personal experiences. Why would I write about things I haven't lived? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because then that's not relatable for other people who have lived in those things. And it's not
Mhm.
nice to see someone write about experiences that they've lived and the writer hasn't actually.
Mhm.
So I will only ever write from things that have, you know, everything I
Yeah.
write will be inspired by my life,
Mhm.
I think.
And it always seems more authentic anyway, doesn't it?
Of
when
course,
it's-
yeah.
And then I love the way you talk about being in an all Catholic girls' school, because
Yeah.
I went to an all Catholic girls' school. I think one thing that going to an all girls Catholic school taught me or gave me was an intense phobia of teenage boys. And as I've grown into an adult,
I still
an
have
intense
it.
phobia of boys.
Of men.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how to interact with them.
I know.
Because we didn't, because the boys' school in my town, and it was the total other side, we had different lunchtimes, so we never crossed paths.
Okay.
You might maybe on a Tuesday afternoon, and then like I would see them at like discos, and I would totally seize up, and I still, if you told me to go up to a man, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, same.
How
They're
do you
not
say
human.
hello?
They're aliens. Yeah. In my
It's
mind.
just a really strange experience.
I know. That's why I don't think I would ever send my kids to a same-sex
Mhm.
school. I don't think it's natural. I know myself, like until I was 18, I didn't think I ever interacted sober
Yeah.
with a boy. And still throughout college, even in Trinity, like we would, at lunchtime, the girls would go for lunch and the boys would go for lunch because we all came from
Mhm.
same-sex schools. I don't think it's very natural.
You talk about dating
Oh,
on
God.
your TikTok. Now, you don't have to give any personal details here, but what's the dating scene between Dublin and London? Is it similar, different? What's it like?
No, it's not similar at all. The London boys know what they want and they're very forward and like, you are beautiful, let me take you for a drink. And like we were saying,
That's cute.
run the other way. No, thank you. Yeah.
You're
Whereas,
an
like,
murderer.
Yeah, whereas the Irish guys, you know, like if I have on my Hinge that like I did a comedy show or something, they'll be like, do you think you're funny? And I'm like, let's go. But then the London guys, there's no such thing as monogamy. Everyone is getting with everyone. And I don't like that personally. I mean, I'd love to be like, yeah, modern times, everyone. But like, I would be heartbroken if I was kissing someone and they were kissing someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person. I wish I was more free-spirited, but I'm not. Maybe it's insecurity. I don't know. And I think there's less of that going around in Dublin. Maybe because Dublin's so small that if someone did cheat, everyone would know about it.
But we found out, it's too much of a small
But London,
sphere here.
It's really hard when you're seeing someone in London to know, like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Who are we?
Dating apps scare me so much. I've deleted them all. I just
Really?
can't. Yeah, I just can't.
They scare me as
They
well
scare
until
me.
I started seeing them as like content. And
content.
I would be like, I'm going on a date, and right before the date, I'd always feel like really anxious. But then I'd be like, do you know what? Even if this is awful, it could make a hilarious story. It could make a great video. It could make a great scene in the show.
Mhm.
And I think you're just better to go and have these experiences in life.
Yeah, turn heartbreak into success.
Absolutely.
Final question on this. What would you say to 16-year-old Rachel? What advice would you give her? These always, I love asking this question because it just always makes me really emotional.
I was going to say I might get emotional. I would just say, like, I promise it gets so much better. And life is not always going to be like this. I remember literally like, oh God, coming home from school one day and being like, what's the point on going on if it's always going to be like this? Like, that's awful and dark. But like, I know if you're like many, many teenagers feel like this can't be it. And I would just say, you are meant to be brilliant and you will be brilliant. And just keep going, girl. You've got this. And I'm really, really proud of you for sticking through and finishing school and doing all that stuff. And then following your dream. I know, yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
I'd say probably the same to my 16-year-old self, and I would also be like, draw on your eyebrows for your dibs. This is the biggest mistake I've ever fucking made.
Coco Brown, please.
I had no eyebrows for my dibs, but I had blue eyeshadow from MAC. No, thank you so much, Rachel Galvo. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I haven't laughed that much in a while.
Yeah, that's what you get now to carry woman, girl.